The war between Earth and the Drokeran Empire had lasted 5 long years. Millions had died. Cities had fallen. A space was filled with broken ships and shattered moons. Humans had almost lost everything until one man did something no one expected. His name was Captain Elias Ford. He didn't win by strength. He didn't destroy the enemy. He saved the enemy's leader during a secret meeting inside a ruined space station. The Drokeran king named Zervarin was badly wounded in an explosion. No one knew how it happened. His own guards left him behind. But Elias was there. He could have killed the king. He did instead. And instead, he pulled him out of the fire, stopped the bleeding with his own uniform, and called for help. Drokeran rescue ships arrived. They didn't kill Elias. They let him go. 3 weeks later, the war ended. The Drokerans sent a message to Earth. They wanted peace. They were ashamed that their king had been saved by a lowborn human. To repay the debt, they offered a gift. A royal gift. Elias thought maybe they would send gold, or a rare ship, or even new tech. But what arrived was a girl. Arrival of the alien princess. The humans waited on the landing pad as the Drokeran ship opened its doors. Elias stood at the front, wearing his cleanest uniform. His boots were polished. The air smelled of burning fuel and sharp tension. Out came two Drokeran guards, and behind them walked a tall female figure. She was nothing like the stories of beautiful alien princesses. She had deep green skin with dark purple veins running under it. Her arms were long, and her fingers had thin claws. Her face was sharp, almost like a lizard's, with wide lips and 2 uneven eyes, one red, one yellow. Worst of all, 2 crooked horns came out of her head, but one was broken. She wore heavy robes. Her body moved slowly, almost like she was in pain. Elias didn't laugh, but many others behind him did. "Is this a joke?" whispered a guard. "They sent us a monster." The Drokeran officer stepped forward. "This is Princess Vetra of House Zer," he said proudly, eldest daughter of the king. "In return for his life, he gifts her to the humans." "Gift her?" Elias asked. "As what?" The Drokeran didn't answer. He simply turned and walked back into the ship. The doors closed. The ship left. The girl Princess Vetros stood alone. A strange kind of silence. Vetra said nothing. During the drive to Earth's interplanetary embassy in New Geneva, she sat in the back of the transport, glowing eyes staring out the window. Elias tried to speak to her. "Do you understand me?" he asked. No answer. "Are you hungry?" "Thirsty." No answer. "Do you want to go home?" Still nothing. She wasn't rude. She wasn't violent. She was just quiet. The scientists scanned her. The doctors tested her. The media wanted to take pictures of her. But Elias said no. He ordered everyone to leave her alone. For now, Vetra was placed in a private room in the embassy tower. She didn't touch anything. Just sat on the floor, her back against the wall, eyes always watching. Mockery and confusion, the news spread fast. Alien king sends daughter to Earth, a shocking peace gift. First contact bride? Princess or prisoner? Talk shows made jokes. Some called her the ugly alien girl. Others said Earth should demand something better. But Elias didn't laugh. Something about her silence made him curious. It wasn't fear. It wasn't sadness. It felt like she was waiting for something. He visited her again on the 3rd night. She was sitting by the window, staring at the stars. "You can speak if you want," he said softly. She turned her head, slowly. Her voice was rough, deep, and full of broken rhythm. "I can speak." Elias sat down across from her. "Why didn't you before?" She looked away. "Because no one listened before." A painful truth. As the days passed, Vetra began to speak more, but only to Elias. He brought her food. He gave her books. She liked reading, especially human history. But when he asked about her past, her answers were short. "My father said I was born wrong," she told him one night. "Too natural, too soft, not like the others." "What do you mean?" "He changed my siblings, cut them, rebuilt them, made them look perfect. But I was left. Left why? Because he thought I would die, but I didn't." Hey. She looked him in the eyes. "So now he gives me to you. A failed daughter, a useless gift. It's for saving a king who wanted me dead anyway. Elias felt something cold in his chest. This wasn't a royal offering. It was a cruel punishment. Seeing differently one evening, Vetra saw Elias struggling with a broken drone in the lab. She walked up quietly. "Give it to me," she said. He handed her the device. She touched the wires, closed her eyes. Suddenly, the drone came to life. "How did you do that?" he asked, shocked. "I can feel machines," she said. "Not see. Not hear. Feel." She placed the drone on the floor, and it flew in perfect circles. That night, Elias wrote a secret report. "Princess Vetra may look different, but she is not useless. She may be the most important alien mind we've ever met." Ending scene. A quiet spark a week later. Elias was called to a meeting. The Earth Council wanted to send Vetra away, maybe back to the Dracarans, or to a hidden base. They said she was too strange, too risky, and bad for public peace. Elias slammed his hand on the table. "She's not a thing to throw away," he said. "She was thrown away once already. By her own people. Don't do it again." They didn't listen. He returned to her room, angry. Vetra stood there, holding something in her hands. It was a small drawing, a child's sketch. It showed a strange, tall alien girl, standing next to a human in uniform. "Is this me?" he asked. She nodded. "You saved me," she said. Elias looked at the picture. Then he looked at her. "No," he replied quietly. "Maybe you're the one who'll save us." The days passed, and Earth slowly forgot about the alien girl. News channels moved on to other stories. People laughed less at the gift from the Drokaran king. But they didn't care much either. Only one person kept paying attention. Captain Elias Ford. He visited Princess Vetra every day, bringing books, puzzles, and sometimes just silence. She didn't talk much. She didn't smile. But she listened. And slowly, she changed. Learning like a machine of Vetra had a strange way of learning. She never asked questions. She only observed when Elias showed her how to open a door using a touchpad. She only needed to see it once. The next time, she opened it faster than him. When Elias gave her a book about Earth's languages, she read it in one night. The next morning, she spoke better English. It still sounded robotic, but it was clear. "I like your language," she said. "It's not ... too proud." Elias smiled. "Some humans are still very proud." She tilted her head. "I know. They laughed at me." He looked away. "Sorry," Vetra shook her head slowly. "You didn't." The gift no one understood. One morning, Elias brought Vetra to the embassy lab. "I want to test something," he said. He placed a human communication drone on the table. "Circuits fried during battle. Can you fix this?" Vetra stared at the machine. She walked closer. Her fingers touched the metal. She closed her eyes. Blue lights flickered. The machine beeped. Then it rose into the air and hovered silently. Elias blinked in surprise. "That wasn't just fixing you. You controlled it." "I didn't control." She said, "I listened." "Listened to what?" "To the machine." It was confused. Hurt. "I helped it find its shape again." Elias stared at her, speechless. She had a natural link to energy and machines. Something no Drokaran ever showed before. The moment everything changed that night, Elias sat alone in his office. He opened a private file and wrote a new log. Subject Vetra is not a joke, not a broken royal. She's something entirely new. A living bridge between biology and technology. She doesn't control machines. She understands them. Earth should protect her. Not just for peace, but for hope. Suddenly, his screen beeped. An incoming transmission, encrypted, from a Drokaran source. He answered it, expecting maybe a political message. What he saw shocked him. The hidden message, the video was short. The Drokaran king stood in his palace. His face was cold. Behind him stood other royal children's hall, beautiful, enhanced with glowing armor and perfect skin. The king looked into the camera. "To the human who saved me, keep the creature. She was born wrong. She was meant to die. You may do with her as you please." She has no place in our bloodline. Then the screen turned black. Elias stared at the blank screen. His hands shook. He rushed to Vetra's room. She was sitting by the window again. He handed her the device. "Watch this." She did. Her face didn't change, but her fingers tightened. When the message ended, she stood up slowly. "He called me." "A creature, yes," Elias said softly. "And you saved him." "I did, and I was thrown to you as a thank you gift." "No," Elias said, his voice hard now. "You were thrown away. He just used me to do it."
Vetra said nothing for a long time.
Then she whispered, "Thank you for showing me." At the beginning of Change of Vetra stopped sitting quietly after that. She asked Elias for tools. For books. For machine parts. She started building strange devices in her room, half alien, half human tech. She asked to visit human labs. She even spoke to some scientists, though her voice was still strange and careful. They were shocked. She wasn't dumb or useless. She was smarter than any AI system they had. One scientist whispered, "She's not ugly. She's terrifying." Elias heard that, and he smiled to himself. She's just becoming what she really is. A moment of respect one evening. Elias brought her a small gift. It was a tiny mirror. Vetra looked at it in confusion. "I know you don't like your face," he said, "but I want you to see what I see." She looked into the mirror, her twisted horns, her green skin, her mismatched eyes. Then she whispered, "This is not beauty." Elias sat beside her. "Maybe not by Drokeran standards, or even human ones. But beauty changes. What matters is what you become." She stared at the mirror for a long time. Then she put it aside and said softly, "Then I want to become more." The public reacts Vetra's name started showing up in the news again. But this time, it was different. Alien princess builds human drone from scratch. Is Vetra smarter than our scientists? Daughter of the enemy may be the key too. Peace. Some people still called her a freak, but others began to see her as something else. A symbol of change, growth, and maybe even unity. She didn't smile at the praise. She didn't care for it, but she started to stand taller, speak more clearly, and walk beside Elias, not behind him. The speech that shocked Earth. Then came the moment Elias would never forget. Earth's allied council invited her to a small peace summit. They didn't want her to speak, just sit quietly as a symbol. But Vetra stood up on her own. People gasped. She walked to the center. Her voice echoed strangely, but her words were powerful. "I am not a gift. I was discarded by those who feared what I might become. But here, I was not destroyed. A human showed me respect, and others joined him. I may not look like you, but I have learned from you. You fear me less because I became useful. Hope one day. You will value those who are not useful too." There was silence, then slow applause. Some people stood. Some cried. Elias stood too, and he clapped louder than all of them. Ending scene, a storm coming later that night. Elias walked into his office. An urgent message waited for him. Classified, intercepted Drokeran signal. He opened it. "Target has grown too strong. The traitor. Daughter must be erased. Send assassin unit. Quiet, clean, final." Elias froze. He turned to the window. Vetra was outside in the garden. Watching the moon, he clenched his fists. They're coming for her. The night was calm, but Elias Ford felt a storm inside him. He read the Drokeran message again. Target has grown too strong. The traitor daughter must be erased. Send assassin unit. Quiet, clean. Final. They were going to kill her. They weren't afraid of her looks anymore. They were afraid of what she had become. And Vetra was completely unaware. Warning, the Princess Elias found Vetra in the embassy garden. She was standing barefoot on the grass, her eyes lifted to the stars. He didn't. "Wait, they're coming," he said. "Your people, assassins, to kill you." Vetra blinked slowly, then turned to him. "I know," she said. "You know? I felt the message in their systems, a wave of silence. It smelled like death." Elias was stunned. "Why didn't you say anything?" She looked at him calmly, "'Cause I was deciding what to do." He stepped closer. And now. She didn't smile, but her voice was stronger than ever. Now I will stop running. I'm not a gift. I'm not a mistake. I will show them. I'm not ugly anymore. A plan of defense. Elias called a private meeting with 2 trusted agents, Commander Rhea Lynn and Engineer Kellen Burke. They met in a secure underground room while Vetra watched through a one-way screen. She's not a soldier, Rhea said. She can't fight trained killers. She doesn't need to, Elias replied. We just need to protect her long enough to expose the truth, Kellen added. Her energy sense is off the charts. She's building something in her room. Something big. They all looked at the screen. Vetra stood alone in a lab, her hands glowing faintly as she worked with strange tools. Half the materials were human tech, the rest, alien metal. She's not afraid, Elias whispered. Not anymore. The assassins arrived 2 days later. The Drokeran assassins arrived on Earth. They wore stealth armor, cloaking them from normal eyes. They carried plasma knives and poison guns, but Vetra felt them before they even entered the city. They're close, she told Elias. 5 of them, moving fast. Then we move faster, he replied. They moved her to Safe Room 9, a hidden bunker below the embassy, reinforced steel walls, laser turrets, one way out. Vetra didn't resist. She sat calmly in the center, surrounded by the armor she was building. She looked up at Elias. Will you stay? He nodded. Till the end. The attack had happened at night. The assassins cut through the outer defenses like shadows. Alarms. Stayed silent. Guards were knocked out without a sound. One of them reached the bunker door and planted a fusion bomb. Beep. Beep. Boom. The wall cracked. Elias raised his weapon. Rhea and Kellen fired from cover. Then something amazing happened. Vetra stood up, her armor clicked into place, shoulder to boots, chest to helm. It wasn't beautiful. It was strange. Alien. Glowing softly like moonlight. Her eyes burned red and yellow through the helmet. She stepped forward, unarmed. The assassin raised his blade and stopped. He froze mid-strike. Vetra's hand hovered. In the air, she wasn't touching him, but his weapon shook. His armor sparked. She whispered, "Your metal remembers me." The assassin screamed as his blade melted. His suit collapsed inward. The others ran in, but she walked forward like a storm. Elias and his team watched, stunned. She didn't kill. She simply disabled them one by one. She could feel their tech. Turn it off. Confuse it. Break it from the inside. And she never raised her voice. Captured and shamed, the Drokeran assassins were caught alive. The world was shocked. Alien princess defeats killers without firing a shot. Daughter of the enemy is Earth's new hero. Ugly no more, the true face of Princess Vetra. Cameras tried to capture her face. Odd. But she wore the armor now. She refused to be judged by her looks again. But something else happened too. When the Drokeran king heard of the failure, he sent another message. This time it was public. She is no daughter of mine. I deny her name. Let the humans keep their monster. She is not Drokeran anymore. Vetra watched it play on the news screen. Then she turned it off and whispered, "Good." The birth of a new name. Elias walked into her lab. She was sitting at the table, drawing again. Not childish this time, a real design. "What's that?" he asked. "A new crest," she said. "A symbol of what?" "My house, my name, my beginning." He sat across from her. "You don't want to be called Vetra of House Zur anymore?" She shook her head. "That name is dead. I am not theirs. I am." She hesitated, then said, "Vetra Humanis." Elias blinked. "Humanis." She smiled very softly. "You said I could become what I want." He nodded. "Then welcome to the family." Rising tensions, the Drokeran Empire was angry. Earth had humiliated them. Their assassins failed. Their lost daughter now wore armor made from both alien and human parts. Rumors spread that some Drokeran scientists secretly admired her, that some Drokeran rebels now called her the Natural One. The king declared Earth Threat again. Ships moved closer to human colonies. Trade talks ended. War seemed near once more. Elias met with the Allied Council. She's not a weapon, he said. She's a message. She's hope. But if you send her away again, you'll lose more than peace. The council was divided, but one voice changed the vote. Vetra herself entered the chamber. She removed her helmet. Gasps filled the room. She still had green skin. Her horns still curved strangely, but her eyes were calm, proud. She spoke in full English, clear and bold. I do not ask to be loved. I ask to be trusted. Let me speak to my people. Let me show them what I've become. If I fail, you lose. Nothing. If I succeed, you may gain everything. The council agreed. A dangerous mission. The plan was simple and dangerous. Vetra and Elias would go to a neutral zone and abandoned Drokurin moon station near the edge of the system. There she would send a broadcast to the Drokurin Empire, showing them the truth, a live feed, no lies, no edits. She would reveal her face, her mind, her heart, and speak to those who still believed in the old ways. It was risky. The king might attack the station, the Drokurin. Military might jam the signal, but Elias believed in her, and Vetra believed in herself. Ending scene, the broadcast. Begins. The ship landed on the silent moon station. Vetra stepped out in her armor, Elias by her side. She looked at the camera drone hovering in front of her. This is your moment, Elias said. She nodded, and then she began. My name is Vetra. You once called me broken, ugly, a mistake. Threw me away to save your pride. But the humans picked me up. They did not fix me. They let me grow. I am not Drokurin anymore. I am not just human either. I am a new thing. A bridge between two worlds. You fear me because I show you the truth. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. The signal spread through space. The Drokurin king watched. So did rebels.
Scientists, soldiers.
And something began to shift. The message from Vetra Humanis was spreading across the galaxy. Millions of Drokurins watched the broadcast. Soldiers, workers, even members of the royal families. Her words, spoken with calm and strength, echoed through screens and minds. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. The first time, many Drokurins began to question their king. But King Zervarin was not silent. He acted. The king strikes back. Inside the royal palace on Drokar Prime. The king was furious. His voice roared through the stone halls. She dares to speak as if she has honor. She is no more than discarded blood. He summoned his elite war council. I want her erased, not just from life from history, an admiral asked. Shall we strike the humans, your grace? No, not yet, the king said. If we attack Earth, we create heroes. We must destroy her another way. He smiled coldly. We will make her betray herself. Back on the moon station, Vetra sat in silence. The broadcast had ended hours ago, but her mind was full of thoughts, memories, fear, strength, pain, and something new, hope. Elias walked into the room. You did good, he said. Vetra turned to him. They listened. Some did. Enough. There's movement now. It's whispers in Drokurin space. Your words have opened cracks in their walls. She nodded slowly. Cracks become breaks. But then the station's alarm buzzed. A new message. From Drokurin High Command. The false offer. The message came in the form of a diplomatic invitation. To Vetra of House Zur, now called Humanese, the king offers peace. Come to Drokurin space. Speak with him face to face. Let us end this before more blood is spilled. You may bring one human escort, no weapons, no warships. Elias read the message twice. This is a trap. Vetra didn't disagree. Yes, but traps can be sprung the other way. He looked at her. You want to go? She nodded. He fears me. If I don't face him now, he'll keep sending shadows. You know, if we go, we might not come back. No, she said, but I was already thrown away once. I have nothing to lose. Elias touched her shoulder. No, you have everything now. Let's protect it, together. The return of the forgotten daughter 3 days later. A small human diplomatic shuttle entered Drocoran space. Aboard it were only 2 souls, Vetra Humanis and Captain Elias Ford. They landed in the royal courtyard of the Drocoran palace. Soldiers lined the walls, silent and armored. The king sat on his throne. He had changed older, silver skin and golden armor. His eyes glowed from too many surgeries. He looked at Vetra as if she were dirt, but she walked calmly. Armor gleaming with both human and alien metals. You walk like a queen, the king said coldly. No, she replied. I walk like a free being. The public hearing, the king had arranged for the meeting to be public. Holographic screens showed it live across. Droker in space, he wanted to shame her before the galaxy. He smiled for the crowd. You left your people. You took the enemies. Name. You wore their skin. I found a name. I found peace. I found respect. You are no daughter of mine. I never said I was. You are weak. I stopped your assassins. You are a freak. I stopped your soldiers without killing them. You are alone. She raised her eyes. I have myself. And him. Elias stepped beside her. The crowd watching the broadcast grew silent. The true face of power, the king, rose from his throne. You think your little tricks matter? He shouted. You think you can replace centuries of order? I don't need to replace it, Vetra said. I only needed to survive it. The king raised his hand. Suddenly plasma chains shot from the walls, wrapping around Vetra and Elias. Guards moved in. Weapons aimed. The king grinned. I gave you a chance to return. Now I will erase you in front of your fans. Elias struggled against the chains. You lied about peace? The king laughed. There was never peace, just delay. But Vetra was ready as the king stepped forward to strike the final blow. Vetra closed her eyes. The chains around her began to spark. Her body began to glow. Her armor melted outward, growing, shifting, changing. She whispered, You enhanced yourself with machines. I was born with them. Her hands snapped the chains. Like paper, energy flowed around her like a living storm. The Drokeran guards aimed, then froze. Their weapons shut down. Their armor became heavy. Their machines turned against them, all over the palace. Tech began to shut down. Screens flickered. Drones dropped. Vetra walked forward. Your kingdom is built on fear. Mine will be built on truth.
House.
The escapulist freed himself and grabbed Vetra's arm. We can't fight everyone. I don't want to fight. I just want to show them. A gesture she opened all comes in the palace. This is Vetra Humanis. I do not want war. I want freedom. If you still follow a king who betrays his own, then you are already lost. But if you feel something inside you, something that says, we can be more, then join me. Not as subjects, as equals. The Drokeran military didn't shoot. Many turned off their weapons. Some even saluted her. Elias activated their
Escape signal.
stealth human ship arrived above the palace. Vetra looked back once. The king stood frozen, his throne cold and alone. Then she stepped onto the ship. Back to Earth when they returned. Earth was waiting. Crowds stood outside the spaceport. Reporters, soldiers, civilians, they had watched the whole event live. Elias and Vetra stepped out. The people cheered Vetra. Vetra, the same people who once mocked her, now admired her. She didn't wave. She just stood tall, silent and proud. That night, Earth's president called a council. They officially gave Vetra human citizenship. She was now one of them. Not a guest, not a gift, but a part of their world. Ending scene, new orders later. Elias and Vetra stood alone on the balcony of the embassy. The stars above were quiet. I thought it would feel like revenge, she said softly, but it just feels free. He nodded. You earned that freedom. She looked at him. Now we build something better for both our kinds. He smiled. What do we call it? She paused, then said, the future. It had been 2 months since Vetra Humani stood inside the Drokerin. Collison called for change. She had not raised a weapon. She had not started a war. She had only spoken clearly, honestly, and with the pain of a daughter who had been discarded, and had chosen to rise instead of break. Now, the galaxy was watching, and Earth was preparing for what came next. The two worlds prepare across Drokerin space. Protests broke out. Citizens who once feared change began to question the king. Some removed their armor and demanded truth. Others whispered her name in secret, the one they once called ugly. Now they called her the natural one, the unbroken, or simply Humani's. But change made the king angry. His orders were clear. If any world supported her message, that world would be punished. So the Drokerin warships moved again, and Earth saw it. Earth unites in New Geneva as the leaders of Earth and its allies met in a special session. Captain Elias Ford stood beside Vetra. They were not guests in the room, they were. At the center of it, Earth's president stood. War is at our door, she said. But so is a chance to do something greater. She turned to Vetra. You were sent to us as a gift, but you are not property. You are a person. What do you want now, Vetra Humani's? Vetra stood tall. I want peace. But I will not run if they bring war. I want to protect the worlds that believe in freedom, not fear. Her voice was calm, but it burned like fire. An unexpected message suddenly. Signal came through, encrypted. From deep Drokerin space, a rebel fleet was sending it. Vetra opened the feed. A rough-looking Drokerin female appeared on screen. My name is Commander Tiza. I once served your father. No more. I saw what you did. Heard your message. Many of us believe in your voice, but we need your help. Elias leaned in. Help with what? The commander looked serious. The king has activated Project Cinderstorm. Vetra's eyes narrowed. That's not a myth? No, it's real. A secret weapon. Built under the ice moons. A weapon to wipe out entire planets from orbit. The line crackled. In 6 days, he will use it, on Earth. A mission of hope. The council panicked. Some wanted to prepare Earth's defenses. Others spoke of surrender. But Elias slammed his fist on the table. We've been through too much. We won't beg. We won't hide. We fight smart. He turned to Vetra. You know where Cinderstorm is, don't you? Yes, she said. It was built in my time. I was never allowed near it, but I remember the location. He smiled. Then we stop it. Me and whoever is brave enough to come with us. Vetra's voice was soft, but full of strength. We don't need an army. Just a human heart and an alien mind. The final flight, 3 days later, a stealth ship launched from Earth's moon base. Inside were Elias, Vetra, Rhea Lynn, and a small crew of engineers and pilots, volunteers only. Their target, the icy moon of Drokarix. The Cinderstorm weapon was hidden deep under its surface. If they failed, Earth would burn. But no one on the ship showed fear. They followed Vetra, not because she looked powerful, but because she had shown she cared, more than anyone, the heart of the machine when they reached the moon. The stealth tech worked. No Drokerin patrols. Noticed them. Vetra led them into the frozen tunnels. Everything was quiet, too quiet, inside. They found a giant black sphere hovering in a magnetic field. Dozens of energy beams fed into it. Its core pulsed like a heartbeat. Cinderstorm, a weapon that could shatter cities from space with sound and fire. Vetra stepped close. I can feel it. It's alive, but confused. Elias watched her carefully. Can you stop it, maybe? Placed her hand on the control pillar. The machine trembled. The enemy arrives, but they were not alone. The king had expected her. His elite soldiers dropped from the sky. 12 armored warriors with plasma shields. They surrounded the chamber. Elias and Rhea took cover, ready to fight, but Vetra stood still. I don't need weapons, she said. Her armor opened. She stepped forward, barehanded. One soldier charged. Vetra touched the ground. The lights flickered. The soldier's armor shut down. He collapsed, gasping. She spoke to the others. "I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to free you." Another soldier hesitated, then dropped his weapon. 2 more followed. The rest were disabled without violence. The king's last. His voice, a final message came through the weapon's core. The king's voice. "You think you've won, daughter? You are nothing without me. You're a broken thing dressed in hope." Vetra stepped to the core. Her hands touched the energy beams. She whispered, "You gave me to them as trash. They gave me a name." The core flickered red, then blue, then white. She turned to Elias. "It's done." The weapon shut down. Cinderstorm was dead. The whole galaxy watches news of the mission spread fast. Earth was safe. The king's weapon was destroyed. His soldiers no longer trusted him. His people were rising up. 1 week later, the king vanished. From the throne, some say he fled. Others say he was taken by his own guards. It didn't matter anymore, eh? New era begins. In a great city on neutral ground, a gathering took place. Humans, Dracarans, other species. For the first time, they came as equals. At the center stood Vetra Humanis. Wearing robes of silver and blue, her horns still curved strangely. Her eyes still glowed red and yellow. But when she walked into the hall, every leader stood. She was no longer the king's rejected daughter. She was the voice of peace, Elias, and the future one evening. Elias and Vetra walked through the human gardens on the new peace world. The stars above were quiet. "Do you ever think about that first day?" he asked. "Yes," she said, "when I was given to you like garbage." He laughed. "You scared?" "Me," she smiled. "You gave me books." He looked at her. "Do you regret anything?" She thought for a moment. "No, because all of it made me human inside." Elias nodded. "You gave us something too." "What?" He smiled softly, "Reason to be better."